Hey, what's going on? Look, I don't like to attack other Hispanics, but I have to say this. I don't really like these Hispanistas, this mindset, because of multiple reasons. Their whole thing is like that racism is an Anglo thing. It's just an Anglo thing. You know, I guess what you would call racism, what people call racism, because the thing about the idea of being racist to me, it's just ridiculous. I think that racism is basically a made up word. It seems to be used for the sole purpose of attacking people, because it's like, what does it really mean at the end of the day? They try to make it seem like it means something. You know what I mean? But it really is just to attack somebody, just to kind of like shut them down. You know what I mean? To kind of guilt trip them, you know, and get them to like apologize and stuff like that. And it's really annoying. I really don't like this. But about this being an Anglo thing, well, for one, have you ever, like, do you know any East Asians? Do you know what they think about race? Because they're not Anglos, you know. You know what I mean? So I just want to point out that, like, there's plenty of non-Anglos all over the world. I think just about any society that actually cares about its nation will be racist, will be what they call racist. And this is why I say I don't like the word racist, but sometimes I kind of try to like use it in a way that what I just say that I'm racist. You know what I mean? Just like what's wrong with being racist? Because at the end of the day, what racism is you protect your people, your nation. You know what I mean? So I don't care about being seen as racist. I'd rather be racist than, you know what I mean, be one of these people, oh no, I'm not racist. I love black people. No, I don't want to do that. No, thank you. I'd rather say, listen, we have a problem with your group. You don't want to take responsibility for these problems. You want us to just kind of be, apologizing to you for us wanting to be us and protecting ourselves. You know what I mean? And so you're a problem, and addressing that makes me racist. If addressing that makes me racist, then I'm gonna be racist. And that's what it comes down to. All right? So that's not the only issue with these Hispanistas. There's a lot of problems, and I'm going to get into as many of them that I can. This idea that only that this racism thing is an American thing. I don't know what they mean by this racism thing. To me, it's almost like if you're proud to be white, you're racist. You know what I mean? So it seems like it seems like kind of an attack on white people, and saying that whites are racist to me is kind of ridiculous. It's saying that America is racist. It's kind of ridiculous. You know what I mean? America is not a pro-white country. I don't know why people think this. I mean, I really don't. I was born and raised in the United States. I grew up in the American society. You know what I mean? It's not a pro-white country. If anything, it's a pro-black country. If you have to apologize for racism, that's the society that America is. Somebody says something against black people and they have to apologize for it, for racism. That's the society that America is. I don't know where this idea that this pro-white attitude is American. I don't see it. In fact, I would say that East Asians are more pro-white than than most white Americans. You know what I mean? There's like you're more likely to come across a pro-white East Asian. And to be honest, I'm gonna be very honest, and a lot of these people, they're really not gonna like this one. But Hispanics are actually more pro-white than a lot of white Americans. You know what I mean? Or at least, I mean, in my experience, they're more likely to openly express it than white Americans. This is the reality. This is the reality. This is the reality. Now, of course, yes, there's racist. There's, I guess, you know, what you call racist whites in America that don't like Hispanics. And then there's what you call racist whites in America that do. You know what I mean? And the reason why these racist white Americans do like Hispanics is because they see that Hispanics are more likely to kind of defend themselves, you know, against blacks. You know, like anybody that actually believes that there's a black and brown coalition really needs. I mean, I don't know. You know, these are probably people that didn't really grow up around the Hispanics. That's what I would say. People that did not grow up around Hispanics, because, like, if you grew up around Hispanics, like in a Hispanic family, at the very least, like in a Hispanic family, you would know that this doesn't exist. You would know that it's a complete fabricated nonsense by the media. You would know this, and it's just the truth. And then, like any Hispanic that comes to me and then tells me these things, I'm like, why are you lying to me? You know, I just call him a liar, a straight up liar. You know, and, you know, I tell them, look, you get this info from academia or the media. You watch too much hip hop videos. You know, all these things. And you need to stop. And, you know, it's like you have to be told this. You don't really experience it. You have to be told it. And then when you experience it, you say some white person said something to you, and then it's really something more like ambiguous. You know, something that you don't really like. Oh, they gave you a racist look, or they bumped into you and they gave you a look or something like that. You know what I mean? But if you ever experience racism from blacks, it's gonna be you getting the shit kicked out of you by a group of blacks, and they're calling you all racist names. Either, you know, if you're Chinese, they call you the Chinese racial derogatory words, the Chinese epithets. If you're Hispanic, trust me, they will. When you're getting jumped by blacks, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. You know, anytime a Hispanic fights a black person, actually, they always come out with the, you know, you Spanish fuck. You know, I got that a couple of times. You know, the S word. You know, the one that ends with the C. Can't say it on here. You know, that's the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? Blacks are gonna be 10 times more likely to attack you racially. I mean, this is what kills me. Is like what they say is the opposite is the truth. What they're saying, the opposite is the truth. And then these people come to me, these Hispanistas, they come to me and then they tell me that I'm learning all like this pro-white stuff. I'm learning it in the United States. And so I'm gonna be very honest here, and I'm gonna say things that that people aren't gonna like. I'm gonna turn and say something about Dominicans. Now, in Santiago, here, these people here, the older people, when they talk about like racial wise over here, when they talk about the past, they say that there were no blacks here, like in the 70s, 80s, that there were no blacks here in Santiago, that there were none, right? And then I have these like Dominican nationalists that say that there were. Okay, well then why are all these people saying this? One of them said to me, these old school Dominicans, they'll have you believe that Santiago was just full of white people, whites and all this stuff. Okay, so let's say that's true, that they're just saying that it was just all white people here, there were no blacks. I mean, and they're not saying that it was all white because there were the Indians too. The Indians were here. But let's just say that they're just saying that, and it's not true. That should tell you something about what these people actually feel about these blacks here, right? What you're saying, why don't you think about what you're saying? Why don't you think about what you're saying? What does that tell you about, the way that these people actually feel about them? I mean, of course, this is the kind of stuff that kills me. All right? And so back to the Hispanistas. I've heard these people say multiple times that only Dominicans have these problems with Haitians because, in other Latin American countries, they get along just fine. Who really buys that bullshit? Who really believes that nonsense? You know how untrue that is? I've been involved in this, in this, talking about this type of stuff, getting all the information on the whole Haitian situation and observing it for a long time now. You think I don't know that there's Haitians in other countries? And not only is it that they're in other countries like Chile and Mexico and whatever. Not only are they in these countries, but there's clips of people complaining about them. The people there don't want them there. And why would they want them there? Why should they want them there? Because these Hispanista people think that they're going to turn them into Hispanics. And no, you can't do that. And no, you're not going to. All right? You're not going to. Okay? There was another thing that I was going to say. It's just their whole idea, like anybody can be Hispanic. Like anybody can be Hispanic. You're saying that it doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning. And then you get to the point where you call Haitians Hispanic. You know what I mean? You look at Haiti and you're saying that resembles a Hispanic nation? No. So have more of a direct, unbreakable, message. Because what you're spreading is buffoonery. You're saying Jews can be Hispanic. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people believe that. A lot of people believe that Hispanics are Jews, something like that. And this is the problem. And they're gonna say that this is an American way of thinking, but no. Brazil has racial classifications. Or has had. I don't know if they still have, but I know that they have had pretty blatant racial classifications. All right? So no, it's not an American thing. I mean, I don't know where you're getting this from. America is probably the most anti-racist country in the world. And not only that, but it's the country that's spreading this anti-racist idea all over the world. It's the country that's spreading this anti-racist idea all over the world. And then, you know, and it really just kills me. It really, I mean, it's ridiculous. I think America was probably at its best during segregation, honestly, where blacks had their areas and whites had their areas, and the blacks can't come into the white areas. You know, like everybody has their own space, and you respect each other's space, as long as there's that respect. But I think the issue with that was that I guess it was forced by law, but I think sometimes it's kind of necessary, you know. So that's it. That's it for now.